Hey guys, it's Kaz here, aka Cats and Camera, and today, well, I thought it was probably about time I did my August wrap up, so that's what we're gonna do. Yeah, August started off pretty crazy because Booktubeathon, the second half, the second 2/3, I can't remember what the dates were, but yeah, after Booktubeathon I didn't read anything for like a week because I just couldn't handle life, but in the end I did manage to read quite a bit, even with that big lull in the middle because I couldn't handle words anymore. Oh, also, if you want to watch it, I will link my Booktubeathon vlog up there, so there you go. So the first thing I read was Girls in Love by Jacqueline Wilson. This is a reread, of course. I read it when I was a child. This was for green on the cover for Booktubeathon. It was alright, nostalgia. I actually randomly found the TV show on YouTube as well. And even though it was really terrible and really cringe, I ended up watching the first 4 episodes just because it was like, oh, I remember this. Next I read The Walking Dead Volume 17. Can't remember what the challenge this one was for. A short book or something. But yeah, it has been quite a while since I read the one before this. I say the one, it was the massive compendium too. But yeah, it's been a long ass time, so it took me a little while to get into it, but obviously I knew what was going on. This is where everything sort of kicks off. But that's the problem, because even though I haven't watched the TV show for a long ass time, I already knew this big twist of Negan and if you know, you know, about someone dying. I already knew that from the TV show, even though I don't watch it, I just heard the spoilers. So when I read it, it wasn't as big of a shock or a reveal. Next I read Into the Wild, and then I watched the film after it because it was the book film adaptation thing. And yeah, it was really interesting. I saw on Goodreads that a lot of people have the opinion of like, oh, he was so selfish that he went out into the wild. Oh, he shouldn't have done that. And it's like, he was a grown ass man, you can do what you want. You know what I mean? And also, he didn't go out into the wild purposefully to die and then purposefully to be seen as a martyr. He did what he wanted to do, and he was out on his own for 2 years just going around America, so it's not like he knew that he was gonna die of starvation and then everybody was gonna see him as like this hero type thing. So I think it's really weird that people see him as that, as if he purposefully wanted to become a hero, even though he clearly just wanted to chill and do his own thing and not bother people. So it's kind of weird how it turned out, but yeah, very interesting. The book is definitely better than the film. I remember watching the film years and years ago and I really enjoyed it, but because I watched it straight away after I read this, it just wasn't as good as this, obviously, because there's not as much info and stuff, so definitely suggest reading the book. Oh, and I've just talked for ages and you probably don't even know what this is about. So this is about Chris McCandles, who donated all of his money to charity, gave up everything and just got in his car and left. And 2 years later, his body was found deep in the Alaskan wood, snow, cold place, and he had died of starvation, and this is just following his journey from when he left to when that happened. Next I read volume 4 of the Darren Shan manga. I think this was a Booktubeathon thing, I can't even remember, it was a long ass time ago. But yeah, just carrying on the saga of Darren Shan, but in manga form. So I already knew the story, I already know I loved it. Yeah, there's not much I can say about this because it's book 4, so read this series, but the proper books. About a kid who becomes a half vampire, and there's a Cirque du Freak where there's loads of people with crazy, cool, unique, weird things going on about him. There's vampires, there's the baddies called Vampanese. It's just a whole lot of fun that you should definitely get involved with. Next up, I read Always Raining Here. This is a webcomic, and it's just really super cute. I've had it bookmarked on my computer for a long ass time, and then I forgot about it. And then I saw someone talking about it, I was like, oh my god, I have that bookmarked, why have I not read it yet? And this was within the week that I didn't read anything, so I read something, but it was an online webcomic, and it was just really adorable. On Goodreads, this means that I've read 2 books, it counts as 2 because there's volume 1 and volume 2, but when you just read it online, it's just like a big, massive thing. And yeah, definitely recommend. I will leave the link below so you can read it because it's free, it's a webcomic, it's adorable. And it's awesome as well because you can see how the art progresses from the first page to the last. It's amazing how much better the artist gets, so that's really cool as well. And yeah, It's just cute and gay, obviously. What else do you want from your webcomics? Next, I finished Forever by Maggie Stiefvater. I started this book like 2 months ago and then put it down because I had a bunch of random readathons and stuff. But I thought it was probably time for me to actually finish it. And yeah, I did enjoy this one. It started off kind of slow for me. I think that's why I didn't mind putting it down, because it was kind of like really similar to the other books. It just felt kind of rehashing what had happened to one character, but they just changed it to a different character and then the same story went on. It was kind of like, But it did turn it around and it was fun. It was a nice ending. I would have never picked this up if I didn't like the Raven cycle, so that's always a bonus. This is a series about werewolf type thing, urban fantasy with a big ass romance, which is why I wasn't going to pick it up. The fact that the wolf comes out in temperature rather than like the full moon or whatever, I thought was a really cool different thing. So yeah, if you like Maggie Stiefvater, give it a go. Normally I really hate mushy, but Sam and Grace are really cute in here, so I kind of don't mind them, even though I really should hate them because they're just so overly lovey-dovey. Next, I read The Ask and the Answer by Patrick Ness. I enjoyed this more than the first one. I felt the first one was too repetitive in one aspect. Basically, in the first one, something happens, or a person happens, or a situation happens. I'm not going to say which, but something happens, and then it happens too often that it feels kind of like, just don't do it again, but then it happens again. So I was kind of over it. But in this one, I did really enjoy where the story was going. It's told from 2 perspectives in here instead of 1, so you get to see more things happening because there's 2 different groups of people now, and that's why you get to see it from both. Don't want to say too much. It's the second book in a series and it's very different from the first one, so I don't want to say anything about this one because it will completely, not necessarily ruin the first one, but it's better to go in not knowing, I guess, because I had no idea anything about this. I just got this series because it was Patrick Ness. But yeah, it was really good and I'm looking forward to the next one. It's basically set in a world where you can hear people's thoughts all the time. That would get really annoying. Next up, I accidentally read Hyperspace High Crash Landing by Zach Harrison. Basically I was out and about and I was like, I'm gonna read something easy. So I looked on my phone for a comic on Amazon, one that I downloaded, and I got this, I'm pretty sure, because I thought it was a comic or graphic novel. I mean, look at the cover of it. And I opened the first page and there's loads of words there, and I so almost just stopped reading it, but I thought, I've opened the first page now, I might as well just read it. But it was really fun. It's like middle grade and there's space and loads of aliens and a human accidentally getting sent to this school in space with loads of crazy aliens. And yeah, it was just really fun and fast-paced and enjoyable. And I've got the next one because it's on Amazon Prime Reading. If you've got Prime and you wanted to read it, there you go. It's on Amazon Prime Reading. The first 3 or 4 books, and then the last one's not on there. Next, I read One Man Guy by Michael Barakiva. This one was a really fun, fast-paced, quick read. I enjoyed it. It's about an Armenian guy and there was a lot about Armenian culture and food and history, which I thought was really cool because the sort of general aspect of it was really chill and friends and romanticness and a cute coming of age. But then on the other side, I felt like I actually learned some genuine history and stuff that I didn't know. So I thought it was a cool little balance where you're learning stuff but also enjoying a cute gay romance. So yeah, I would definitely recommend giving this a go. Although I did find a few of the moments with the parents over the top. I mean, read the first chapter and you'll see what I mean. But it kind of worked, and I liked the friendships, the main character and his best friend, and also the main character and the love interest. I just thought the dynamic between everyone was good. And also the main character and his brother, because at the beginning they were kind of like not very close, but then as the story went on, you got to see more of that brotherly vibe, so yeah, I enjoyed that. Next, I read Trials of Apollo, The Dark Prophecy by Rick Riordan. I enjoyed this a lot more than the first one. I wouldn't say a lot, actually. I mean, I enjoyed the first Trials of Apollo, but because Apollo is a god and now he's been thrown into the body of a teenage human boy with no powers, he was kind of annoying in the first one. He was very arrogant and annoying and didn't think of anybody else. But also, of course, that's how a god would react, so it wasn't a bad thing, but it wasn't as good as this one, because in this one he's been there for a while, he's meeting people and he's kind of expanding his horizons in how he should treat other people and how he should deal with situations. And yeah, I really enjoyed this. I can't wait to get the next one. I love Rick Riordan, as I'm sure everybody else that's ever read him would also attest. And last but certainly not least, I read Whatever or How Junior Year Became Totally Fucked by J.S. Gosley. I'm sure we can all agree that that title is gold. This has got sort of a hate to love aspect to it. It's a gay contemporary as well. And yeah, it's just kind of funny and doesn't take itself too seriously. It's about a guy who just kind of realises that he probably likes dudes, but then he also hates this one guy who straight away, you know, the hate is probably gonna turn into something different. But it's nice to sort of see the transition of him realising that there's actually feelings there, not just of hatred, but of like as well. It also deals quite nicely with different things like coming out. He has a group of friends and different people react differently to it, and it's nice to see sort of a variety. I also feel like the relationship aspect isn't too much. You know, a lot of books, they meet and then it's love at first sight and then it's going to be like love forever. I feel like this one is a bit more realistic in the approach, which I enjoyed as well. So yeah, that is most of what I read in August, because there were several Kindle things going on as well, which is good. If any of you have seen my reading goals, I need to be reading some Kindle books, and I did that. So yeah, let me know down below if you've read any of these, or if you haven't but they sound interesting. Also, side note, I feel like I've said hardly anything about these books because I don't want this video to be stupidly long. I do write reviews on Goodreads, so check that out if you want to know more. If this is your first video by me and you enjoy it, then please check out some of my others. And if you continue to enjoy them, then please subscribe, that'd be awesome. Anyway guys, I will see you in a few days with another video.